Hi, my name is Michelle, and I am doing my very first video. I have never done YouTube videos before, but I have been obsessed with watching them for a very long time. Something has happened in my life in the last couple years, and I thought that it might be helpful to share. So I thought that I would start this channel and see what happens, see if my information is helpful. And it's also, from my experience, the things that I've watched and learned on YouTube videos about health and diet, exercise, making life changes. It's kind of a diary. The people that I watch and have been following for a while, I feel like it becomes so real to them as they share their experiences and record themselves, especially when it comes to weight and health. It's not easy for me to be on camera. I don't feel attractive. I don't feel healthy. I don't like the way that I look, and I don't like the way that I feel, especially looking at myself on camera. I don't know if anybody can relate to that out there in YouTube land, but it's kind of a thing for me, and it hasn't been a good experience. I don't like to see pictures of myself. I don't even like to be in pictures. I live in Oregon. I am originally from the San Francisco Bay Area. Go Giants, if anybody watches baseball. I won't even talk about the 49ers, so don't worry. We'll take a pass on that this year. I have 2 adult children. I got divorced from their father, more than 10 years ago. At the end of the divorce, they were still teenage, preteen. We moved to Oregon at that time in about 2006, 2007. When we moved to Oregon, I was at a pretty healthy weight. I hadn't always been at a healthy weight. When I was going through the divorce, I was under so much stress and so many life changes. I put my heart and soul into exercising and running and watching my nutrition and just being very conscious. I had not been single for a while, so it probably had something to do with it. Once you get back on the market after you've been married for 15 years and you're 35 years old, you want to look good. You want to attract other people into your life. So maybe that had something to do with it. I moved to Oregon shortly, within 2 or 3 years. I met my husband, who I'm married to now. We've been together 7 years, married for 2.5. And my kids are now away at college, living life, doing their own thing. So I'm an empty nester. I hate that title, but it's more like miserable mom who has nobody to take care of except a husband and a cat. Because who would take care of themselves, right? I don't plan on taking care of myself usually. I am very comfortable being codependent and taking care of other people. So one thing that happened after I moved to Oregon about 5-6 years ago, I noticed an obese amount of weight started coming on, and there wasn't a whole lot of explanation for it. I hadn't really changed my lifestyle that much. I was still exercising. I was still cooking and making nutritious meals. I was very busy. I was working full time. I was just being a mom. I was a single mom for several years. Just kept doing that. And then I went to the doctor. They ran a blood test and identified that my thyroid had pretty much stopped working. So that's called hypothyroidism. My mother is a twin. Her sister and her had thyroid issues. My aunt's children on her side at least one of them has thyroid issues. So it was kind of going around. We kind of all talked about it. It's like, oh yeah, I have hypothyroid. I'm on thyroid medicine. And we realized, okay, I guess in our family this is a thing. And we all looked at each other and we're like, okay, and we're all fat. And I guess this explains it. When I moved to Oregon, I weighed about 160 pounds. I'm pretty tall. I'm close to 5'10". So that was a healthy weight for me. I was 150 pounds before I started having children. And then 160, 165 is pretty much the lowest I could ever get after, all the years of fluctuating weight after having children. So when I moved to Oregon, I was 160, 165 pounds, fluctuating in between that 5-pound range. Today, I am at a lovely 270 pounds. I'm 45 and I'm extremely unhappy. The main reason why I wanted to start these videos is because I have started going through the process of getting a surgery, which I'm sure if you found this video, you were searching for it. So the VSG, I had to write that down because I am still trying to get familiar with what it is. The vertical sleeve gastronomy. We'll just call it the sleeve surgery. If you're not familiar with it, I suggest you Google it and do research, because I started doing research about 2 years ago. I wasn't quite this big. I was probably in the 230, 235 pound range, which is the same weight that I was when I started the divorce back in the early 2000s, 2004, which had been the biggest that I had been up until now. The one thing I started researching about it was if my insurance would cover it. My insurance, I have pretty good insurance, apparently. Who would have thought? It does cover it, but there's tons of requirements. When I started researching it through my insurance, they told me to go look at a program up at OHSU, which is in Portland, Oregon. Very huge, big, amazing hospital, school. They have a really amazing program for their gastric VSG program. They perform surgeries multiple times a day. Lots of people go through there. I've heard lots of reviews and amazing things about the program. Let me back up a little bit. So back a year ago, I started researching it shortly after my mother passed away. She had some health issues, had a heart attack, and had a procedure after the heart attack and died during the procedure. She was only 71 years old, and we did not plan on her dying that day. It was a week before Christmas. So I'm her only child. I have other siblings, but they weren't hers. They were from my dad's previous relationships and current relationships. But with my mom, I had brought her with me to Oregon with the kids to help, because I was a single mom. And it was very awful. Very traumatic. This last year, I can't say that I'm sad to see 2016 go, because here we are on the 3rd of January 2017, and I am very excited to say goodbye to 2016, because it was a very, very challenging year for me. The grief took over. It has been very, very challenging to get back up, and that's probably why I've had so much weight gain, especially this last year. Because a year and a half ago, before my mom passed away, when I was researching, like, what am I going to do about this thyroid thing? I was trying everything with natural products, and every time I would take the synthyroid medicine, which is the synthetic thyroid that the doctors normally prescribe, it just makes me sick. Even if I drink a small glass of wine, I'm 2 sheets to the wind. It makes me very sensitive to alcohol. I was just having a lot of trouble. It just made me feel very bad. I just didn't care for it at all. So I would go off the thyroid medicine, and then the doctors would do more blood tests and say, oh, Michelle, your thyroid is not working again. You need to get back on the medicine. And it just feels like it's been an uphill battle. And a doctor even told me one day that if you're planning on losing weight, it's nearly impossible when your thyroid doesn't work. I don't know how true that is. I just know that it's, for me, my personal experience is, unless I get up and I run my ass off every morning, noon, and night, 7 days a week, 360 days a year, nothing moves. Even starving myself or going on crash diets, or I have tried everything I could get my hands on. I tried to lose weight, and it would work for, I would have a certain amount of weight loss, nothing incredibly significant, but I would lose 20 pounds, and then I would get right back to that 210, 215 pound range and not move, just nothing else. Nothing else would come off for me. It was incredibly frustrating. So when my mom passed away, I called my cousin, who again is my mom's sister's daughter, Sherry, and she came up to help me with all the arrangements and all the business stuff because I just couldn't deal with it, and she knew that, so she came up to help. And when she got here, I hadn't talked to her for a while, and I wasn't, day-to-day contact with her. And she came in, and I couldn't believe how skinny she was. I'm like, what have you been doing? You're so thin. She said, right before Thanksgiving, I had the VSG surgery, and she's a nurse down in the Bay Area. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. She was so thin, and she just looked amazing. She looked so healthy. So since I had already started researching it, but I hadn't done anything about it, after everything with my mom, after we got through with the holidays and all the arrangements and dealing with everything, I got back in touch with my insurance company, and then I sat on it again. Obviously, going through all the grief and everything after my mom's death, I just was in a tailspin. I just wasn't in a good place. I went to the doctor at the end of the summer, in August, this last summer, 2016. And I had some blood work done because I wanted to check my thyroid again. And of course, it was all wacky. They also told me that my blood sugars were extremely high. So I called my cousin and I said, what do these mean? And she wanted access, so she looked at my blood sugars and she said, you have a very, very short window of when your blood sugars go from not looking good to being diabetic. And it just took the wind right out of my body. I just was in shock. Okay, so that means that if I don't get this under control, if I don't do something, I'm going to be insulin dependent. And she said, yes, that is where you're headed. So my insurance required me to get hooked up with a program. So I did that up at OHSU. I did an online application for the program, gave them all of my numbers for all the basic stuff, your basic health information. I did an online tutorial, like a class orientation, I think is what they called it. I didn't have to go up there. I just did everything online, so it was super simple. My very first appointment, I met with a nurse practitioner in the program. It was a $50 copayment for my insurance to get the whole thing started. I did an EKG, and I had to meet with a nutritionist. I had to attend a class, like a group class for nutrition. I had to go through a psych evaluation. They want to make sure that you don't have anything that would prevent you from benefiting from the process and the operation. I was able to pass that. Shocking, right? I was shocked because I feel a little cuckoo. I had to go through, get a mammogram, which I had never done before. I'm 45 years old. I've never had a mammogram. I guess now was as good a time as any. They found something in my breast, so I had to go back and have that checked again, and I have to go back in another 6 months. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about, but you know that it is what it is. I also had to have a sleep study. One thing also, since gaining all this weight, my family has told me that I snore really bad. So bad that my husband has recorded me on multiple occasions. Bless his little heart. He just wanted to make sure I knew how bad it was. I went on a trip with my daughter over the summer, and she ended up moving to a different bedroom in the house because she said that I just snored too bad and she couldn't share a room with me. So that sucked. So I had the sleep study done this last fall, and I have sleep apnea, which was great news for several reasons. Quickly, I'll tell you. I don't want this video to be super long. But one was I'm happy that there's a reason why I'm snoring. Two, my insurance had a requirement that you had to be morbidly obese for them to cover the surgery. I was not morbidly obese. I am obese. My BMI is about 37.8. If I did not have sleep apnea, then they wouldn't cover it because you have to be morbidly obese for them to cover it. I don't understand it. I think that, you know, if I have to gain more weight to get a surgery that'll help me lose weight, I think that's counterproductive. But, you know, you just got to play the game with the insurance at this point. And, you know, it's life or death for me at this point is how I'm feeling, how I'm looking at it, because of my thyroid, my sleep apnea, the blood sugar numbers, just my well-being, my emotional well-being. It's just all wrapped around my weight is how I'm feeling. So I know that the surgery isn't going to fix me. I know that I need to implement life changes. One of the things, I wrote some things down, again, don't have it all memorized, some things that I wanted to address that I want to focus on during this process. The insurance also required that there was a 6-month wait between your initial appointment and surgery. I'm coming up to that 6-month period this month. I'm going up to the hospital this Friday, and I'm having my last class, which completes all my requirements, my last nutrition class. Most people need to lose a significant amount of weight before they can do the surgery. Because I'm not morbidly obese, I don't have to lose any weight. They told me just to stay right where I'm at. I started panicking, and I started probably gaining weight just because I was worried about the insurance. But with the criteria with the sleep apnea, I don't have to worry about that now. One thing that I struggle with, and I have always struggled with, is being disciplined in my time management skills, meaning fitting in time to exercise, fitting in time to prepare food. I would much rather go through drive-through and get something nasty and unhealthy for me and come home and sit on the couch and veg out because I'm tired from work or my week or whatever, and not make a healthy choice as far as food and exercise. So this is not something that I feel like it's going to change overnight. I feel like this is something I have to work at. I have seen a lot of YouTube videos of people that have had the VSG, and then 2 years post-op, they've gained weight back. And everybody that is me in this position, about ready to have the surgery and looking forward to the surgery, is thinking, oh gosh, that's not going to be me. Like, I'm not going to give up this opportunity to change my life. No, we all have bad habits that have gotten us to where we are. I can't 100% blame it on my thyroid. My husband tells me this all the time. I have not gone out and ran. I have not made time to go to the gym consistently. I don't consistently eat good. I can get lazy. So this is what you get when you're lazy. So I just want to end with this, that my number one focus is going to be on lifestyle changes. This is not a quick fix program. This is a serious surgery, and it's forever. It's like a tattoo. You know, you can cover it up, but you've still done the damage on your skin. I am 100% committed to this. I'm very excited about it. I'm terrified, especially just being a year on the other side of my mother having such a tragic incident in a hospital. That does concern me greatly. This is a different hospital, and it's a completely different situation. I realize that, but you know, stuff like that messes with your head, and it certainly has with me. So I don't know if any of this is helpful, but you know, I'm going to document my journey and see what happens, and any support would be appreciated. Any well wishes would be appreciated. I'm very much into meditation and different, you know, stress relieving techniques. I plan on sharing those on this channel as well, and really getting into that, and starting conversation about how in this society we live in, stress is the norm, and stress is not the norm. You have to disconnect from negative people and toxic environments and toxic foods and toxic routines. We have to make a difference in our lives, and it all starts with us, and we can't blame anybody else. Taking 100% responsibility for where I'm at today in my health is the first step of my journey. And I hope that I can make friends in the YouTube world, people that will give me support and advice. And you know, I have to have somebody cut me open and go to a drastic measure such as this to have a fresh start. And you know, I wish it didn't have to be that way. I wish I could have gotten control of my thyroid, and gotten control of my environment, and gotten control of my stress earlier, so that I wouldn't have to make such a drastic step. But anyways, I think that's it for now, and I will definitely update again this weekend after I have my appointment on Friday, and see where we're going to go from here with the... So hopefully this video helps people, and if you have any advice or any information, please feel free to share, comment, and like my video, and I will do the same. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and Happy New Year to everybody, and bring on 2016.